Tim. Thanks for joining us. Firstly, you know Benny and Tom quite well. How good is it to have two juniors of the club go up to represent our country?
Yeah, I'm immensely proud of them. You know, these are guys that have been in and around the club since they were very young and have grown up at the club basically. So to see them go on now and represent at the highest level is it's unbelievable, and it's a really great boost for the entire club, particularly for the younger members of the club, the juniors, for them to aspire to reach the same levels as Ben and Tom.
And not the first Kookaburras either to come from the club, just an addition to the club's history.
Yeah, that's right. We had Lucas Mackay was a junior that played for Australia. Matt Smith went to the Olympics in 1996, but to have two Australian players at the same time, both with an eye on going to Tokyo in 2020, I think that's fantastic. So I think it's the most exciting time we've ever had as a club.
And tell us a little bit more about the junior program currently at Ryde.
We invest a lot in our juniors. We really hold them quite dear, and they're the grassroots of the club. So we put a lot of emphasis over the last 5 years into developing coaching programs to support all juniors, not just the elite players. But that program we called the Towards 2020 program. That was more of an aspirational thing, but it was really about developing the whole standard of juniors, applying more of a scientific approach to our coaching, I guess, but ultimately having a benchmark being two players from the club, junior players from the club, going on to represent Australia at the Olympics in Tokyo. So with Ben and Tom on the pathway already, we're pretty well on the track there.
And back at the club level, you're the first grade women's coach here at Ryde, and obviously that's a bit of a journey for yourself as well, taking that team and hopefully a bit more success in the years to come.
Yeah, well, as you know, we had some fantastic success with the men 2 years ago. So the focus then moved on to the women and have both of the two marquee teams in the club, the men's and the women's, competing for premierships every year is the goal. So last year was sort of setting a foundation with the women's first grade team. They've never won the first grade premiership before. And now this year we're going to build on that, and I think we're going to have a red hot go this year. So it's very exciting.
And just back to Benny and Tommy quickly, you've known them quite well, you know their games quite well. What do you think we can expect from them in 2017 and looking forward to Tokyo 2020?
Yeah, well, they've both got a fantastic opportunity. I mean, they're very different players. Tom being a really exciting, athletic, fast run and gun type player, and then Ben being a really hard-nosed defender. So they're quite different, and I think we can see them both making waves in the national team, but both very differently. So they're there now. They're in the squad. It's a hard road ahead of them. There's no question about that. But you know, they've taken the first step towards an Olympic dream. So it's excellent. I couldn't be happier for them.
A big year ahead for Ryde in 2017. A few things to look forward to. Obviously covering quite a lot of people. What can we look forward to in 2017?
Yeah, well, we're the biggest club in one of the biggest clubs in Australia, and certainly the biggest club in Sydney these days. So that goes right across the club. Things will be happening this year, right through from 5-year-olds to 75-year-olds, men and women, and that's the fantastic thing about our club and about hockey in general. So if I start at the grassroots and at the very beginning, we're making a really concerted push this year to attracting new players to the sport, and particularly those players considering sport for the first time, those players that are 9 to 5-year-olds, girls and boys. So we're looking at launching a new innovative program to attract more kids into trying hockey, which is really exciting. And then of course we'll extend the junior programs that we've been running for the last 5 years as well. And as you know, they've been really focused on core skill development and making sure that equal attention is given to all players across the club, so that everyone gets the same sort of opportunity, and then hopefully develop some elite players out of that as well. And then you look going through into seniors, it's obviously really important to us that we get that transition from juniors into seniors, so making sure we give enough attention to those players in that sort of bracket, but then also the lower grade players that really are the heart and soul of the club as well. It's probably been an area that's been neglected a little bit in the past, so we're going to make a much more of a push to improving the programs and the value that we provide those members. And then finally the two marquee teams, the men's and women's first and second grade. We won the men's competition 2 years ago for the first time in 54 years. We've never won the women's. So this year we've got a very ambitious goal of winning the premiership in both the men's and women's first grade, which I think has really energised everybody, and it's really exciting to be part of.
Well, certainly a big year ahead, and we look forward to following it closely. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks for me. Cheers.